Welcome back everyone, I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm a bit early for actually starting again, but wanted to show my progress so far. Since I've been ahead of the videos and been letting them catch up a little bit, I've already been grinding. But I'm going to go ahead and add this video to the batch, so you guys can keep up. As you can see, I'm already level 45. Now, despite the fact that Ramza is still a samurai, I've actually done something else while grinding. Mainly, I have every class unlocked. Every class unlocked. Every class unlocked. Note I said unlocked, they're not mastered or anything like that. I just did the bare minimums to make sure I get every class unlocked for all 5 of our characters. Now don't let this deter you from choosing another character if you need to. If you want to swap over to a monster class, or if you want to swap over to a unique character class, by all means let me know, it won't be a big issue. But, with that being said, a few things I noticed. For one, while I was going through stuff, Rafa already had access to Sage, and I didn't go over it, so I apologize. Also, Mylek has access to Ninja, and I didn't go over it. So, I'm going to use this opportunity to go ahead and go over the last few classes that we haven't actually, either unlocked or met yet. So, we're going to go ahead and go to Change Job. And, let's see, we'll go ahead and start with the other non-basic classes. Actually, let's go ahead and start with the Mime, just real quick. Blah blah blah. The requirements is level 2 of all basic job classes. Basic job classes are anything except the Bard/Dancer, the Sage, the Ninja, and the Samurai. So everything else has to be at least level 2. Anyway, let's go ahead and quickly go over the Ninja. Combatant who hides as a means of battle can throw weapons at a distance. At distant enemies, 2 sword ability. Prerequisite is 4 Archer, 5 Thief, 3 Geomancer. This could be different if you're playing the original. So, for the Ninja, they by default automatically have 2 swords, which means they can dual wield weapons, which can be pretty useful. Especially, it also, when you dual wield, for those who've already seen it, if you activate certain knight abilities or something like that, you will actually activate them twice with two weapons. Second state we kind of went over. All it does is makes you transparent, and then abandon, which will double your evasion for after you've been hit once. Kinda neat, but you have to rely on the fact you get hit first, and you have to rely on your Brave triggering, and you guys have already seen my Brave fail the trigger many times. They gained the ability to walk on water, which is kinda nice, but it's pretty much really cheap. It's like only 100 JP, and it's 100 JP for a reason, mainly because no one ever buys it. As for everything else, it's just, all these are just items that you can throw. The basic being shurikens and the elemental balls, but then you can also actually throw primary weapons. If the weapon has a proc on it, like for example, the ancient sword having Don't Act on it, if you throw that sword, it has a chance of proccing that Don't Act ability, which is kind of neat. Of course, throwing weapons and stuff like this, and not shurikens and balls, gets a little expensive, so be aware of that. But the range for your throw is based off your movement. So the higher the movement, the more your range will be for thrown weapons. As far as the damage is concerned, I believe it's like speed plus... It's like something to do with like speed times the weapon power of the item or something like that. Something along those lines. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's go ahead and change job. Alright, so we've gone over to Ninja. Let's go ahead and go over the Sage next. Scholarly warrior create phenomena through Arcana, uses planar magic to drive away the target. Requires level 5 Priest, level 5 Wizard, level 4 Time Mage, level 4 Oracle. Kind of a beefy requirement. The Sage replaced the Calculator class. The original game, Final Fantasy Tactics had a Calculator class that was essentially very, very overpowered, though I never used it myself. And I'm not going to explain the Calculator class, I'm just going to focus on the Sage. Anyway, the Sage. Now, some things to note. The movement abilities are, you get bonus XP when you move, and you can also make it so you get bonus job points as you move, which is kind of interesting. There's also gain XP up, which I think was taken from a different job class. There used to be one that was called gain JP up, which used to be a Squire ability, but that's no longer available. So if you want to boost up your experience, you can do it this way. Then you got damage split. If you guys watched my little random encounter video, you guys remember those trees, and quite frankly, the assassins that we fought on the rooftop, one of them had HP split, which means every time you take damage, no matter the source, there's a brave chance that you will reflect half the damage back at them and then get healed for that amount. So the key thing is you have to make sure you survive the hit, and if you survive the hit, there's a chance you'll get half your HP back and hurt them a little bit. Then there's Distribute, which shares XP excess HP. This is kind of an interesting ability. I don't know how powerful it is, because this is the first time I've ever seen this ability, because I don't think it's available in the original. What happens is if you have full health, or, you know, close to full health and you get healed, that excess healing goes to the rest of your party, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how Distribute exactly works. I don't know if you distribute to someone else that has Distribute, if it'll distribute again. I don't know. But I can kind of see maybe there's some nifty little tricks you can do with this, but I'm not entirely certain. And then for their spells, they use different spells, to say the least. Some of these spells are available as they are original. I think a lot of these spells are available as like monster spells. Except for like Death Spell 2, which was like which the princess had and all that. Anyway, Zombie 2 has a really high radius and high chance of causing zombie. Sleep, same deal. Confusion, Frog, and then you have one that does a Demi effect, which means percentile damage. Then you got Flare 2, which is a AoE flare spell, which is kind of interesting. Despair, which will cancel all buffs. Return, which will reset CT back to 0. And this is an AoE, by the way, which is kind of neat. And then Death Spell 2, which will cancel all stats effects. So, kind of a unique class. It's with the little bonus fight we're supposed to be doing against the Holy Knights, a lot of these spells are kind of useless. But Flare 2 gives them an offensive capability, as well as the ability to remove stats effects, which is kind of nice. Anyway. So, you got, essentially you have a tanky advanced character class, a roguish character class, a caster character class, and this is essentially a support class. The Bard. Warrior who uses his voice as a weapon, can sing songs that protect allies. Prerequisite, level 4 Summoner, level 4 Mediator. So, now the thing is, if you go over to Iria, for example, oops, keep pressing the wrong buttons here. Change job. You'll notice that she doesn't have the Bard, she has the Dancer, which is a warrior who dances in battle dressed in charming costumes, can dance and disturb enemies. Geomancer 4, Lancer 4. So different requirements as well. So, kinda interesting. Anyway, the Bard. So the Bard revolves around singing a song. The way songs work in this game, and dances also, is you'll pick a song, and then your character will just start singing and dancing or whatever. And as long as you don't try to take any other actions, I think you can do normal attacks, but you can't just take any other actions because it will cancel the charging. After a certain amount of time, based off the speed of the song, you will activate the song and it will do its effect. And it'll constantly do this over and over again. It's not like a spell where you charge up and then cast it and it's over. With songs and dances, you continuously charge it, and it will cast over and over again. Sometimes even multiple times before you even get an action, depending on how fast you are and how fast the spell is. So let's go ahead and quickly go over the Bard stuff. You have restores MP to all allies. And these are usually small little bits, but these add up real quick, especially with the faster songs, which are generally these ones. Life Song, which restores HP. Battle Song, which has a chance of increasing attack power. Now, these abilities can miss. It's kind of like a usual buff, like it has a percentile chance. But if it works, you get +1 attack. And every time it procs, you get another chance of getting more attack power. Magic Song, same thing, raises magic power instead of attack power. Nameless Song, which will add a random status effect, or add a random buff to all the party members. So in this case, you have a chance of getting re-raise, regen, protect, shell, or haste. Not too bad, but generally not. It's better just to cast it yourself. And then last song, which has a chance of making each character get their an automatic quick, which will make them have their CT to 100 and instantly get their next turn. Their counter ability is MA save, which is when they get hit, there's a brave chance that their magic attack will increase by 1. They have no support abilities, and they have 4 movement abilities. There's move NP up, which means, well, you got to see it in the battle. When you move, you gain NP. It's just like the HP up as well. You got move +3 and jump +3, the highest move and jump bonuses you can get from a class ability. And then you have fly, which is essentially ignore height, except you also can fly over obstacles and enemies. So it's I guess you can say it's an upgraded form of ignore height. So there you go. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the dancer abilities. Alright, first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and start with the movement abilities. You notice that she only has 3 movement abilities, fly, move +3, and jump +3. The reason for this is because she has MP switch. So they balance the game so you can't abuse it as much. I mean, you still can, it's pretty easy too. But essentially with the same class, you can't just stack MP switch with move MP restore, because that would be overpowered. No support ability, but counter abilities. You got PA save, which is the same as MA save, except it does physical attack +1. It's just like speed save as well, except it just does physical attack. MP switch. You saw this in the battle on the roof against the assassins. When you attack, there's a brave chance that you will lose MP instead of HP. Now, if you have no MP left at all, it won't trigger. You have to have at least 1 MP. So that's why they kind of made sure you can't get move MP restore, because that would be ridiculous. So essentially, it allows you to have a free hit, assuming you succeed in the brave check. It's pretty useful as far as like making your characters a little bit more tanky. I wouldn't suggest putting this on a caster though. As for dances, dances are the exact opposite of songs. They work the same mechanic, but instead of buffs on your party, it's debuffs on the opposing forces. It targets everyone. There's no way to avoid them. Witch Hunt does MP damage to all characters. Wiznibus, which is, oops, kind of kicked myself out of there, which does HP damage. These 2 abilities can quickly shred you. If you don't have things like HP restore, these moves can just shred you like crazy. It's pretty amazing how fast these spells actually activate, and if you have multiple dancers, you can really tear things up. The only weak point for things like Wiznibus and stuff is the fact that each time you do the dance and you hit them for damage, there's a chance that it will proc their counter ability, such as maybe PA save, or speed save, or, you know, HP restore. So, and it does very little, it does small bits of damage at a time, so you can't really rely on it if they have something like HP restore. Or you can, but you have to, you know, turn it off at the right time. And in the case of like things like speed save, you can very quickly make someone have a ridiculous amount of speed. So you gotta be careful about that. Polka Polka lowers attack power. Disillusion, which drops magic power. Nameless Dance, which has a chance of causing a random status effect. Darkness, Confusion, Silence, Poison, Slow. Not too bad, but with the fight we're about to be doing, it won't be useful at all. Last Dance, which is a chance of setting CT count to 0. Also pretty neat, but it can miss, and I'm pretty sure the things we're about to fight are immune. But as far as the normal storyline is concerned, it might be useful. So there you go, that is the Dancer. The Dancer uses Fabric as a weapon, which has a 2 range, has 40% evasion if you choose to go with Weapon Guard on it, and has a chance, 25% chance to cancel any charging effect. So if you use it on a bard that's singing, there's a 25% chance you'll just stop them from singing. If a wizard is casting, you get the idea. And for the bard, they use harps, which I don't really know too much about. I don't even think I have a harp in my inventory. Doesn't look like it. Let me take a quick look. Actually, we can go and check this place. We'll go and take a look at the shop. Nope, none in here. Okay, I'm not going to bother searching for it. But they use harps, which I believe are like a ranged attack. And they have chances of doing, I think, status effects as well. Anyway, now that was the Bard and Dancer. So all we got left is the Mime. The Mime has no skills. They just are level 1, have all their skills, all they do is mimic. And as I explained before, they usually start out with really high stats. They cannot equip any gear whatsoever unless you give them an ability that allows them to. They automatically start with martial arts. I think they start out with a few other abilities. I think they become immune to stats effects and stuff like that too. But essentially, it works as I explained before. I believe I explained it in one of the descriptions of my videos. If you, any action you take, one of your characters takes that's not, correction, any character a non-mime character takes in your party, your mime will mimic it, exactly. So, for example, if you attack in front of you, it will also attack in front of it. If you use a Phoenix Down on someone, it will use a Phoenix Down in front of it. If you cast Shiva, 2 spaces forward and 1 to the right, the Mime will cast Shiva from its position, 2 spaces forward and 1 to the right. So it's a very interesting class because it multiplies your actions, but at the same time it can be very difficult to use because you have to kind of aim everything correctly, and to make sure you don't do anything accidental like heal the enemy. Like if you do something like, you know, cast a healing spell and then all of a sudden you have your Mime cast a heal spell and just heal the enemy. So you have to keep track of things like that. Anyway, that was all the classes. I will go ahead and include the link again for the job classes as well as the unique classes. I'll also include all the monster classes, which will list all the monsters, and majority of the monsters listed can be recruited. And I'm at the point where I do start encountering more of the stronger monsters. I'm at the point where I do occasionally encounter dragons, which are kind of interesting. And yeah, that's about it. So I've been trying to refrain from giving any advice in this game, just so I don't, because obviously if I give any advice, people are just going to take it, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of letting you guys choose skills. So like I said, I have access to every class now, so don't worry about me taking time building up a class or anything. I will just... The only thing I will have to do is swap over to the class I have already unlocked and grind out some JP, which is rather easy to get. The other thing is, as well, if I don't get enough feedback on some of these characters, I will go ahead and use abilities that I have general access to. For example, I've already given Teal move +2 because she had move +1 for like her entire existence. So naturally, move +2 is better, so I went ahead and gave that to her. Also, I do have access to new gear, so I might as well go ahead and show that off real quick. Due to the fact I'm fighting higher level characters, the NPCs have actually been equipped with better stuff. For example, this Holy Lance, which has 14 attack power, which is stronger than even the next spear that I can buy. It's Holy Element, which you have to be careful of, because if you fight something that's healed by Holy, it will heal them. And has a 25% chance of activating Holy Explosion, which is exactly like the Holy Explosion that Agrius can do. So pretty good stuff. At least finally gave Iria a better weapon. The other things, we got the Flash Hat. The Flash Hat gives decent HP, decent MP, or okay MP, and gives +1 speed and +1 magic. Very useful for casters. I went ahead and gave it to Teal because she's also a caster technically. Also, I now also have access to Light Robes, which are really strong robes, gives high HP, high MP, and always gives the equipped person regen. These are the robes that the engineers I'll be fighting in the second optional battle will have. And despite that, they still have 600 HP. But that's another issue altogether. And I think that's about it as far as new stuff. Yeah, I think I'm good on new stuff now. So, like I said, cast your votes. I just wanted to give you guys this little update to show off the last few classes we haven't gotten access to. And as I mentioned before, just let me know what you guys want, and I'll pretty much make those changes. If you guys don't give me any input at all on some characters, I'll try to do some changes with what I got, which for the most part isn't too shabby. But I do suggest, I guess the one suggestion I will get is try to optimize your movement abilities to the highest as possible. Like I said, I have access to everything now, so naturally going for move plus 3 will probably be a smart thing to do. Not that I'm, pushing you or anything, not saying that move plus 3 is better than move plus 2, or anything like that. Or if you guys just really hate me, you guys can just tell me to equip things like, oh, what do we got here? Any weather. You guys can give me any weather. If you tell me to get any weather, I will probably call you a bastard. But I will equip it. So, like I said, you guys have control over this. You can make this as hard or difficult as possible, or you can make it as easy as possible, or you can just mess around and just see what happens with one of you give me various classes. For the most part, I'm familiar with every class except Mime and Sage. All the other and a little bit of Bard. I've done a little bit of Bard, but not much. So, as far as that goes, I'm pretty familiar with all the classes, so by all means, make all the choices you want. Until then, everyone, I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Final Fantasy Tactics. See you guys in a couple days.